Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. One of our buddies brought us this old Bally flip-flop pinball machine that we're going to fix up for him. And I believe this is a present for somebody. So he bought this not working, and we're going to get it working, and then he's going to give it away as a present, I believe. This is a really cool game. It came out in 1976. It was made by Bally. We're doing a bunch of Ballys lately. We did the Bally $6 Million Man. We have a Bally Knight Rider here that we're working on. We have a Bally Freedom that we're going to be working on. There's even others floating around that we won't talk about at the moment. But Bally, Bally, Bally. And I love the Ballys, so that's cool. No problem there. So we're going to do a little video just showing how this thing came into us, and then we're going to get into it. So it is a kind of like a Western theme, cowboys, but it's kind of like a comedic take on it. You got these horseshoes on the back box and on the side art. Someone has touched up the red paint a little bit. A little worn here and there. Just gives it a little character. Coin door's a little beat up. Might have to beat that back flat with a hammer like we done that one. Cabinet's in decent shape, but it's got its fair share of wear. Okay. And then I want to show you the back glass on this. We'll have to talk about it whenever we play it. This is one of the coolest back glasses, but it's kind of what Bally was doing at the time. They were making cool back glasses. So you have this awesome scene. By the way, this back glass appears to be in perfect shape. You have this awesome scene with this horse that's completely upside down. It's got the Leonardo da Vinci thing going on. We'll talk about that probably in the final video. And he's bucking this cowboy who's lost his hat. And you've got these wagons over the first and second player. And then you got all this weird writing and everything. And I think they're all meant to be brands, you know. Like the Easy Ranch, the Bullseye Ranch, the Bow and Arrow Ranch, or whatever it is, the Sailing Ranch. H Ranch, Bell End Ranch, whatever. The Line Star Ranch, the Running Man Ranch, the Barrel Ranch, Up Arrow Ranch. George keeps opening all the doors around here. Let's check that back. And then you've got all these little caricatures watching everything. The whole thing's pretty funny. And you've got the Indian chief over there with his horse. You got a little puppy dog there. George, what are you doing? Kind of weird. It's like the color changed too. I don't know. Anyway. But what I always liked about this back glass, I was telling Shane about it whenever he brought it by. If you're into silkscreen, and I'm gonna say this all again on the last video. So if y'all don't like whenever I talk about stuff like this, oh well, you're gonna hear it twice this time. Look how the artist did the art, okay? Especially the colors. There is a color and then a darker shade of the same color. Which, if you know anything about silk screening, let's just count the amount of colors that are in this back glass, and then think about how they silk screened it. Because you know, for each color, you need to do a pass of ink, and then there's an extra charge for that. You know, so this is an incredibly complex back glass. Maybe one of the most complex ever. I don't know of any that are really any more complex than this. So if you're into silk screening, just look at this, okay? So there is now my color is off a little bit on my viewfinder here, but it looks more vibrant than this in real life. So there is a purple and then a darker purple. So that's 2. There is a yellow and then an orange. That's 4. There's white and black. That's 6. Okay. There is a dark blue and a light blue. That's 8. There is a red and a maroon. That's 10. There is a skin tone and then a like a darker skin tone. That's 12. Right? I mean, it's just got a ton going on. There's a green and a dark green. That's 14. Did we miss any? Did we do the browns? I don't believe we did. So there is a brown and a darker brown. That's 16. I think it might be it. So there are, this is a 16 color silk screened black back glass. 16 colors. 16 colors in this thing. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. Some of the early games would only have like 4 colors on them. But this one's got 16. Think of the money behind all that. You got to run that back glass through the press 16 times on each glass. And this is, you know, I don't know. Were they all done by hand? I don't know how they did that. But that's crazy. What a complex glass. And this one's in like perfect shape. Wait a minute. Is that bottom color different than his skin tone? I don't think it is, actually. I think it's the same. At least 16 colors. We may find more. So I always thought that was cool, and this is one of just the coolest back glasses. We'll talk about the horse and Leonardo da Vinci whenever we get farther, whenever we do the last video. But anyway, this is a really cool game. So let's check out the play field. Again, we're just doing the condition that this thing showed up in. I didn't even notice it at first, but this plastic over here has been replaced with a new one that somebody made and spray painted. You can see it should have the branding stuff on it like the one on the left. I'll see if I can buy one of those online. Somebody may have one. eBay, here I come. You've got these 4 flip over targets at the top, which I believe was on Wizard as well, or maybe Captain Fantastic, or maybe both. A little bit of wear on the play field, but I think that'll clean up. If there's any areas that need repainted, we'll touch it up, but hopefully we'll be able to clean it up. So it's got 4 flippers. It's got 2 pop bumpers down low. It's got a strange out lane with a rubber ring on it, so the ball can actually bounce back into play. Right? But you can also, if you look, lose it on the in lane. You know, that's just weird. That reminds me of, what was that other one that had there was a way to lose the ball way down here on another one. It may have been that one with the real, the Spanish eyes one. Was it like that? 2 saucers up there. And then these are like up bumpers, like mushroom bumpers. You hit them and that little piece of plastic actually goes up in the air. So it hits the top of the ball instead of the bottom of the ball. And then you've got these little rollover buttons at the top too. What game had those? Something had those too. Can't remember. We've worked on ones with all this stuff in it before. Bally, well, any of the pinball companies would invent something like those flip over targets. And then you wouldn't want to use it in just one game, so they would come up with ways to put it in other games. But that's kind of where we're starting. I think the first thing we'll do is we'll take the glass off and we'll take the playfield out and look down in the cabinet and see what all is waiting for us in it. We've had some people that have mentioned that they don't know how to take the glass out. So if you open the door, and this is pretty much on any pinball, there's a little lever in here somewhere. So on this one, it's right there. You just pull it to the side, and that releases the lockdown bar. Now, a lot of times, like on this one, it'll be stuck. You hear that? So what is that? It's probably beard. That's probably what it is. So the bar will get stuck to the glass a little bit. I can't do it with one hand without cutting myself up. The bar will be stuck to the glass a little bit because beer has got down in there and it's sealed it, right? Because of the beer seal. So I'll pop that off and show you. So there's this little rubber seal here that is literally called the beer seal. So some kind of liquid has basically got on the glass and then made that seal stick to the glass. So you kind of got to pop it off. And usually the glass is tempered. This one actually has the logo on it. Alright, so once you do that, you can slide the glass out. Now sometimes, whenever you go to slide the glass out, it'll be stuck. So let's see if this one's loose. Yeah, this one's loose. But a lot of times it'll be stuck for the same reason. If it is, the way to get it out, I'm going to do this even though it doesn't need it. If I break Shane's piece of glass, I'll just have to put another one on it. So if it's ever stuck and you can't get it out, like you can't, it just won't move, the way you get it out is, it's going to sound crazy. Remember, it's tempered glass. So it's not going to kill you if it breaks, right? But you can slap it out. So you might want to wear a glove or something. I don't, but I've never had one break doing this. But if it's stuck, basically you need some kind of force to push on it. So I just slap it, right? So something like that, and it'll pull it out. Of course, this one's loose, so it's not a good one to show you on. But if it's not moving, whenever you slap it, you're basically putting force going this way on it, you know. You don't want to go crazy on it, but it's not going to break with just your hand unless you're a complete maniac. I mean, I could break it if I wanted to because, you know, sometimes I am a complete maniac, but that was just, I was at like 2% right there, you know. If you hit it at 50%, it'd probably break it. So I'll slide that out, and then we'll look inside of it. So here's the bottom of the play field. It's a very complex game with a lot of stuff going on. So you've got the two coils, one on each side for the saucers. This contraption down here, if you notice, has 4 coils to make the little flip over targets work. And then there's switches and everything for that too. Left flipper over there, the coil looks a little toasty. We'll have to see if that thing's burned up or not. Right flipper. Stepper unit here for the bonus, I imagine. Pop bumper. Another pop bumper. Entire bank of coils. Relays. The 2 kickers. The 2 flippers. And this is one of the 76 machines, so it was by that time the flippers were already DC voltage. Or I think it's the flippers, it might be the pop bumpers, or both. We'll look in the schematics and figure it out. But lots of stuff on the bottom of it. It all looks in pretty good shape with the exception of that one coil. Looks like it might be a little toasty. Now, if the coil looks like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's burnt up. It just might be. Right? So we're going to pull this out of the cabinet. The way you do that is, see how this plug here comes loose? So in pinball, we call those Jones plugs. Somebody was pointing out a couple weeks ago that they don't really call those Jones plugs. In other industries, they're a different design because like that actual company, so-and-so Jones made them. I believe these may have been made by the individual pinball companies because they look different depending on the manufacturer. Like this one has these little springy things that grab the plug, right? But we call them Jones plugs. So there's some of those down in the bottom that you disconnect. It unplugs the whole playfield, and then you can pull it out. Sometimes there's one running up into the back box too, but it looks like on this one they all go to the bottom. So I'll pull that out of the cabinet and lay it on the floor, and then we can get a good look inside. Now, if you're messing around with one of those and you've got it leaned up against the back box like I just had it, you got to be careful how you do that because when they have all the jewelry hanging off of them like this, depending on how tilted you have it, like see I'm tilted right now, right? I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get it where you can tell there's an angle on it. Well, it's tilted right now. It's about 3 inches back, right? But if I let go of it, it's actually going to fall forward because there's just so much weight on it. So you got to make sure that whenever you tilt it, it's tilted way back. If it's just like this, it'll fall forward. And if you're in here doing this, yeah. There was this book way back in the day, I probably mentioned this before, a friend of mine told me about. There was a guy that wrote a book, like this hippie, who wrote a book on how to fix Volkswagens. And he's telling you how to rebuild the engines and just how to rebuild the entire freaking car, right? The guy was the Volkswagen wizard, right? I can't remember the name of the book, but it was basically a guide. It's this old school book from the 70s, a guide on how to fix Volkswagens. And there's this line in there where he says, whenever you, something about use a stick to hold up the hood to make sure you don't bang yourself a good one. So every time I've got something over my head, I always think, am I about to bang myself a good one? Okay, so the things that you find in these machines sometimes are very interesting. Like, if you wonder why we always take them apart and go real slow and just look in them and see what the crap's going on, it's because of stuff like that. Now, there is a damn nail. It doesn't want to focus. So this nail is in here for some reason, and that's not a small nail. I mean, that nail, if you look, see, it's the same length as my... That nail's damn near 9 inches long. So for some reason, there's a big old long nail in there. Some of you will get that. And also, I notice a fuse holder that's busted up here. That was clever. All right, so look at this. If I can get it to focus. Okay. So see this fuse holder? So there's a clip and a clip, a clip and a clip. That holds the fuse. This is a clip and a clip, and this part of the clip is broken off. So that instead of having it like that, they have moved it so that the tension holds it against the side of the fuse clip that's left. And I say bravo. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with my focus? Come on now, work with me a little bit. So, hey, if it kept it out on location so that they didn't have to pick it up and take it into the shop, what's the problem? The focus acting up is making me have to zoom slower, which you people probably appreciate. Okay, so I haven't worked on a Bally EM in a while, although like I said, 1, 2, 3. We're going to be doing several. So I had forgotten kind of what's going on inside of them, but they're all kind of similar. So you have the Bally chime unit here. You got the Bally transformer there. There's 2 stepper units. There is the Bally score motor stack. You know, some of the Gottliebs, they use a one that revolves around. But remember, we worked on a Williams at Jubilee over there a while back, and it uses a score motor. It didn't have anywhere near this many cams, though. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It has 12 cams. The Williams, I believe, had... it probably had 8. Might have had 9. And then some of these switch stacks are really high. Look at that. Look at all those switches on one stack. And there's a screw that runs from the top of that all the way down. So yeah, so they're using the same type of score motor. It doesn't have a relay, what do they call that? Which game was that we were working on? Was it the Jubilee that had the No, it wasn't the Jubilee. Maybe it was. But some of them, especially the Gottliebs, had like a long relay, a set of relays that were all reset by one bar. Oh, it was the Gottlieb Swing Along had that. So it's just, different companies did them different ways. But this is Williams' setup, how they did it. Look, there's another. By the way, I'm not plugged in. If you're plugged into the wall and you go down here touching stuff, I mean, you could very easily, I just looked to make sure I'm not plugged in. You could very easily accidentally touch the side of something that's got voltage on it. It's not going to kill you, but it's going to shock the hell out of you. Screw that fell out of something. Oh yeah, I see it. But the other thing that I noticed is it's just got a ton of relays. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20, 21 just in the bottom. And then you have this other stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 right there. I mean, it's complex. Got a lot going on. Another thing I'll mention just while we're here looking at it. This wiring goes up to the top and plugs in the back box. That's the stuff that was cut on the Jubilee. Right? But a problem that you run into on these ones with relays and equipment way back here in the back, when you put the playfield in, you've got that snake, that pigtail there of wires. You need to be careful with how you have that in there, because if it's curled around the wrong way, it can lay down on one of these relays and keep it from moving to where the relay won't work. So whenever you put the playfield in, you kind of need to look at the back and just make sure your cords aren't hanging on top of the relays and laying on them, because they'll make the relay not work. But yeah, everything looks cool. It's a little dirty, but nothing major. I see some broken glass over here, which means we're going to find broken glass all through it. Somebody's broke a playfield glass in it at some point. Let me pull out all this paperwork and we'll see what comes with it. Alright, there's a bunch of junk down underneath the paperwork. We'll save all the screws and bolts and all that stuff. Alright, so we found the two parts of the plastic that are broke. Oh, I've had people criticize me for saying that too. I didn't say broken. YouTube is wrong-minded sometimes, people. These are all of the little card thing, so they have different replay scores printed on it. I don't know how they ever got roped into doing all this. But there's a card that will say, I don't have the one for this one, but like on this Freedom, that says 1 replay for each score, blah, blah, blah. See how there's a little slot in it? So you can slide another card in there and change the score. It's a whole bunch of those. These are the instruction cards. And the reason that there's different ones is because you can change the settings. So, let's see what the difference is between these two. It says, this one says double bonus on last ball. This one says double bonus on 3rd and 5th ball. So it's just little minor stuff like that. Okay. Whoa. Whoa. So this is a couple extra bulbs, a couple extra fuses, a couple set screws for the flippers, and a little Allen key, probably original, probably to set the tension on the grip on the flippers. Old manual flip-flop. I touched that. That looks like some kind of body fluid. Ugh. I hope it's blood. All right. Now there's our score things. And there's some on the playfield too. All right. The delay circuit. Purpose of the time delay circuit is to prevent unnecessary abuse of the machine it is installed in. The time delay relay is energized anytime one of the slam switches are made to contact. There are 2 factory installed slam switches, one on the front door and one on the mechanism mounting board. Any number of slam switches may be installed by the operator to meet his individual needs or something. Blah, 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 blah. The delay relay is energized, and it can be varied by changing the 455 light bulb mounted on the delay ray frame. If unable to get a short enough time of delay, get a Westinghouse 455 bulb. These units are considerably faster. If still unable to bring the time down, check the location voltage. It should not be under 49.5 volts AC on the transformer secondary. Okay, so they're basically saying there is this little circuit in here, the delay relay, and it has a little light bulb installed that they're using as a way to time it. A 455 bulb comes on and then turns off whenever it gets hot enough, so they're actually using it as a timer. That's why they blink. If you put them in the back box in certain places, the bulb will blink on its own because when it's cold, the little filament is touching, but as it heats up, it's like spring steel and it moves. And then it cools off again and touches again, and it on, off, it's out and blinks. And apparently the Westinghouse 455 bulbs are faster. And this is their little, this came with it, I guess, where they're showing you how the delay relay works. It's normally closed. If it ever opens up, then your coin relay will not work. Your third coin chute won't work. Your second coin chute won't work. Your credit relay won't work. Your second coin step-up relay won't work. It turns off all the coin stuff. Bally coin chute credits. I have never seen this. So they're showing you all the different doors. Type number 1 door with 3 chutes. Type number 2 door with 3 chutes. Type number 3 with 3 chutes. Type number 4 with 3 chutes. Type number 5 with 2 chutes. Type number 6 with 2 chutes. Now, was that absolutely necessary? Did they have to make 6 different coin doors? You'd think they could have got that down to 2 or 3, but it is what it is. Okay, so here is the manual, not to be confused with the schematics. Installation hints, adjustments, how it works, coining, game theory, reset cycle. Alright, so this is very useful. Reset cycle. When the credit unit has been advanced from the first, second, or third coin chute as described in section 2A above, the front door credit button switch, when actuated, will energize the credit relay, and the credit relay will energize the coin relay. The coin relay, when energized in any of the ways previously described, will stay energized through its own hold-in switch and normally closed number 8 score motor switch. The coin relay will energize the reset relay through a game over relay switch, so it's giving you the theory of operation, switch by switch by switch. How cool is that? Look at this. Flip unit feature. The flip unit is actuated by the flip rollover button at the top of the playfield and by the flip targets.
For example, either of the number 1 rollover buttons or the number 1 flip target will set the number 1 flip. Each flip advances the bonus unit once. Each rollover scores 100 points. Each flip target scores 1,000 points. When all 4 flips have been set, hitting the left or right mushroom bumper will advance the bonus unit 4 position. Score 500 points and reset all 4 flips. When the ball enters the outhold, the flips are also reset. This is pretty detailed. Most of the manuals do not have this level of detail, but so I guess Bally, by this point, if you think about it, they're making a concerted effort to make the manuals better for the operator. Now, I don't have any complaints about anybody else's manuals, but none of them really have all that. And look, this is telling you how the schematics work. So that's very detailed. And then your standard schematic, which is a little bit different than you see on some of the other machines, just because it's more narrow and longer, which actually is a way to simplify it, you know. So they're trying to make it where it's a little easier to find what you're looking for and to see how the circuits work together. But that is one long schematic. It's about 5 feet long. Something like that. But I believe they wrap around. Yeah. So here's the transformer. So these are your lights, which operate off of... it doesn't tell me the voltage. But these are your lights. So the 2 lines for the light, ground and power. And it comes up to here. But this is the ground, remember? So the lights stop there. The ground keeps going. And there's also this line at the top, right? And then the wire for the solenoids is this. But also this. So it's a complex game. It's got a lot going on. But the schematics, the way they've laid them out, it's a little easier to find stuff. So let's see here. Let's find one that's easy to look at. So the top hole eject solenoid is always connected to the voltage on one side, and the way it's triggered is the top hole and center target relay pulls in, and whenever score motor 7D or whatever that is connected, it pulls in the top hole ejected solenoid. So it makes it a little easier to find stuff, even though it lays back on itself. But oh, you know what? It's for the wrong game. Bow and arrow. But these are available online for free. If you go to the Internet Pinball Database, we'll get the actual ones for flip-flop. So that's no problem. Why do they have the bow and arrow ones in here? It's because it's a 4-player Bally. It's probably very similar. All right, so that's the schematic. So that's what we've got inside the cabinet. A very complex game. So let's pull it out from the wall, and let's see what's in the back box. Oh, let me show you what have we here. This is showing you some of the adjustments. High score feature, extra baller credit, 1 coin shoot, second coin shoot, balls per game, usually 3 or 5. The match feature, on or off. So it's just showing you what some of the plugs do. Just talking about these here. Alright, so let me pull it out from the wall and we'll look inside the back of it. So here's looking in the back box. What do we say? 8 relays on it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far we have 28 relays. I found 5 more. So that's 33. But then we also have these up here, which are trip and latch relays. So there's 2 coils on each.
But we'll just count them as 4. So there's 37 relays in this sucker. Can you believe it? Can you believe it, folks? And then we have the Playerup unit over here with the spider. All right. Credit unit here. Very simple. Doesn't even have a board. Just got a wheel. And then we have this, which is their... they call it the 0 to 90 unit, but I think it's usually used for matching. It's got a little wipers on both sides. I think it does. I think they're on the inside. That spin around. 16 score reels, 4 dummy reels. I wonder if the dummy reels are still all right. Sometimes they lose their paint or their sticker. Yeah, they look fine. Okay. So we've got a 10-point relay, 100-point relay, 1,000-point relay. There's no 1-point relay because the first number is the dummy reel. 10-point, 100-point, 1,000-point. There's also no 10,000-point relay because nothing scores 10,000 points. So it would just eventually get up to there. The number 1 score reset relay and the number 2 score reset relay. So someone was asking on one of our previous videos, why are there so many reset relays? It's because there's so much stuff to reset. So the reason that there's 2 score reset relays and not just a reset relay is because they need to reset the Playerup unit. They need to, now I don't know that the reset relay does all this, but that needs to reset. A credit needs to come off the coin reel. All 16 score motors need to reset. The bonus stepper needs to reset. And I would imagine that they probably reset the flip-flops too. Maybe not, but sometimes stuff like that they'll let hold over from game to game, but I don't know if Bally was doing that. And these 4 up here, they probably need to reset. I wonder if those are for a light. Let me see. What do those say? Sometimes they have a label on them that tell you what they are, so you don't have to look in the manual. I don't see it. Sometimes you have stuff like that. If there's 4 of them, it's obvious there's 1 for each score. Sometimes it's to turn on a light. That's probably not what these are, though. So you can get 99,000 points. 99,999, then you would roll it over. But sometimes they have a light that lights up and says 100,000. So those 4 are for something. We'll figure that out as we go on. Very cool. So what is that? That's what we call a mud dauber nest. Might be a hornet or a wasp or something. But if you look up here in the corner, there must have been some kind of nest up there that has fallen apart. And that's what's left of it. So this is what we're starting with, people. I'm trying to, on these now, I think what I'm going to start doing is give a real detailed look of what the condition that stuff's in whenever we start. And just talk about what I see and what I think and what needs to happen. Because I think that'll be helpful for people. So yeah, I don't see anything really wrong with this at all except that plastic being missing. And there's a plastic on it, so if I can't get another one, I can just leave that one. But I don't see anything else that really... you might end up where you got to replace something like this lock relay. See how that's all burnt up looking? People get worried about things like that and they think, oh man, it's fried. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it might still work just fine. You just need to play it a little bit. Sometimes it'll buzz. It'll be really loud when it buzzes. But sometimes you can fix that by cleaning this plate. The plate will have rust on it. If you clean the plate and put it back, it won't buzz anymore.
The reason that it's all burnt up like that is because it gets hot. The reason it's getting hot is because it's on all the time. So the lock relay is on the whole time that the game's on. Which, back in the day, was probably several years. So people get all freaked out about that. Well, if you're going to have it in your house and you leave it on for 6 hours, that thing was on for 5 years when it first came out. I mean, your 6 hours is a piss in the ocean compared to... I mean... so people get all worried, oh, it's burnt up. No, it's not all burnt up. It's just it got a little hot when it was turned on for the first 5 years that the game was around. And by the way, it's still there, so nobody replaced it yet. It probably still works. But if it's an issue, we'll replace it. Now, if you find one that shouldn't have ever been locked on, you may have a switch somewhere that's screwed up or, that's got it stuck on all the time. So that stuff like that certainly needs to be fixed and looked into. But we'll fix and look into everything. So yeah, I think the thing's in really nice shape. All things considered. I don't mean obviously it's not new or anything, but I mean nice solid shape to start with. And the most important things on a pinball machine are always what shape is the back glass in and what shape is the playfield in. Well, the back glass looks perfect. So that's half of it. The playfield looked like it had a little bit of wear, but it'll either look fine once we clean it, or we'll touch up what we need to. But I think we'll end up with a nice game out of this. Okay, folks. So there's my thorough overview of where we're starting. So on the next video, we will get into cleaning relays and steppers and score motors and all of that jazz. So make sure to stay tuned. We'll have that up soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. We'd like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, down below there is a link to Amazon. If you click that, it takes you to Amazon. And then anything you buy at Amazon, we get a little tip from. So thank you to everybody that's been doing that. The other day, somebody bought a big bed. It was like an actual bed. That's pretty cool. But if you can't buy something like that, you want to save the money, I don't blame you. So if you're just buying light bulbs, that's cool too. So thank you to everybody that's been doing that. And make sure to check out our brother channel, My Brother Donnie. Literally ran by My Brother Donnie. We have bought a little tiny building that used to be a grocery store in historic downtown, beautiful Jefferson, South Carolina. And we're fixing it up so that we can rent it out. Trying to help revitalize the downtown area of that beautiful town. So go check that out if you haven't. I'm usually on there with him, but he does a lot of like farming videos and things like that too. So you may enjoy that. He's crazier than I am. So leave your comments below. Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. And we'll see you on the next video. Flip flop.